One of my viewers asked me how I bought my RV-12. In this video, I will not only tell how, but why I bought it. To tell the story, I have to go back a bit in time. So, Sherman, let's take that trip in the Wayback Machine. I started my flying career in 1964, so you know by now that I'm an old guy. Over the years, I added ratings and experience to my ticket. In the late 1960s, I was an instructor on instrument trainers in the Air Force stationed at Williams Air Force Base in Arizona. After I got out of the Air Force, I used the GI Bill to help fund my commercial and multi-training. I did work for a brief stint as an air taxi pilot, and over the years, I bought and sold 4 other airplanes. After I sold my last plane, other interests had me put a pause on my flying. I bought a house, sold the house, bought another house, sold that house. I bought another house, and so on. I met a girl. We took some trips. We traveled quite a bit. You make choices. I chose adventure. Life was happening all around me. I retired from the working world. Then I got cancer, underwent treatment, and reevaluated things. I had a lot of blessings in life. I have 2 talented sons and their families. I'm embedded with my wife's children and grandchildren. I have the financial security to live comfortably. But I also realized that I was not engaged with the one thing that has been a lifelong passion of mine, flying. And so, with the support and understanding of my wonderful wife, I decided to re-engage in aviation. I heard about this new thing called light sport aviation, so I went to YouTube and started browsing. Hours and hours later, I had come across this Vans RV-12. I had been away from flying for so long, I'd never even heard of the RV family of planes. And perhaps because I knew I didn't have the skill or patience to build a kit plane myself, the RV-12 appealed to me because I could buy one completed by the factory. So I went to the Vans website and got the number to call for info on the SLSA aircraft. I spoke to Eric Rushing and learned that it would take 2 years from the time I placed an order to when my plane would come. I guess I need to look at used kit planes then. I called Vic Syracuse for some advice. He is known as the expert in Vans kit planes. He told me to keep checking Barnstormer's and the Controller websites for used planes. He also told me that planes were generally snapped up pretty quick, so I should get a right of first refusal if I should find one I want to explore. Okay. I hung up the phone and pulled up the Controller website. Bam! There it was. A brand new SLSA with just 28 hours total time for sale. I called the owner. He was surprised since he had just posted the ad only 20 minutes before. We talked about the details, and he agreed to give me the right of first refusal since I was the first caller. In my brain, I was thinking, this is so lucky, it must be meant to be. My wife was also excited. We talked about places we could go. At dinner that same night, I got a call from the owner. It seemed like other people had found the ad too, and he was getting calls. One guy offered to put down a $5,000 deposit to hold the plane. The owner was true to his word and offered me the plane if I too would send a deposit. Well, of course I would. The next morning I went to the bank and completed a wire transfer of $5,000 to seal the deal. I also took out a cashier's check for the balance and sent the owner a picture of the check that ultimately would be the final payment. The wheels were turning fast on this deal, and my wife remarked that things were just falling into place. Yes, they were. We agreed on a delivery date, and I booked a one-way flight to Philadelphia with Delta. I called a Vimco to arrange for insurance. They required a BFR, of course, and 5 hours of dual in make and model, with 10 landings to a full stop. Got that. As a rusty pilot, I'd want the same anyway. Sent them the premium, and now we wait for delivery day. I bought a couple of headsets from Amazon. I looked at more YouTube videos, and then September 24th, 2022 came. I boarded Delta and flew north. I met the owners, signed the papers, and the plane was mine. Total elapsed time from thinking about flying again to actually owning a plane, 2 weeks. The planets lined up just right. Everything clicked, and it just seemed like it was meant to be. I took the required dual and BFR from an instructor, who was, by the way, an excellent CFI, and days later, I flew home with our new airplane. My wife was waiting for me at the airport and shot a video. So that's the story of how I bought our plane. Another viewer asked me to elaborate on the paperwork requirements involved, so I'll cover that in another video. I hope you enjoyed this very personal account of how I bought this RV-12iS. And I figured any plane with whiskey in the end number is worth having. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel to see where this whiskey wagon will take us next.